Everybody, welcome to the Cheese Talk podcast. I'm your host, Brian Rago, and today I'm joined with Lindsey in Oklahoma. Today we'll be talking quickly about the Packers, a few rumors circulating up here about Jordan Love and his contract. And after that, we'll have some random life questions to get to know Lindsey a little bit better. But before that, I want to give a shout out to the Open Network for giving me the umbrella platform to do these podcasts. They are 19 followers away on Twitter or X from giving away an 8x10 autographed Jair Alexander photograph. Lindsey, what's going on?
Hey, how are you doing today, Brian?
I'm doing good. It's noon in Green Bay on a Saturday afternoon and getting anxious for training camp to start. There's a few rumors going around that I don't know if they're true or not, but you know how people lie on Twitter all the time about Jordan Love possibly signing a contract before training camp. Have you heard anything down there going around?
No, I think I'm just, seeing similar things on, Twitter X that you are seeing. We've all been waiting. It's time to do it. I don't know what the holdup is, but I'm sure it will get done. And looking forward to that day, seeing kind of what the number is going to be and what we're looking at.
Yeah, the number I saw was 5 years, $280 million, but I don't know how much. I don't know. That's like what, $56 million a year or something like that. So
I was kind of thinking it would be like in the 250 range. So if it's more than that, good for him.
Yeah, just got to keep him around as long as you can. As long as he keeps producing for us, I think we'll be in good shape as Packer fans to watch him be successful.
Yeah.
Other than that, how excited are you for training camp to start on Monday?
Oh my gosh, I just want to see footage. I want to know what's going on. I want to see kind of the role that everyone's going to play. Like, we're ready. We've been without football for entirely too long now. It's time to get it going. I'm ready to watch.
Absolutely. It's what keeps Green Bay ticking up here is the football team. So once football starts, everything else kind of seems to go on the back burner for us.
Yeah, I bet everyone's just getting kind of anxious, getting ready. Like, you can just kind of feel it in the city. I'm sure it's almost time,
Yeah, traffic's going to pick up, and well, that's going to be our sports talk for the day. How about we get to know you a little bit better? How does that sound?
Sounds great.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Oh gosh, well, I'm really, since I grew up in Minnesota, I do not really have a fondness for winter anymore. That's why I'm enjoying Oklahoma so far. Not that it doesn't have winter, but it's definitely not the same. So I could think if I could pick anywhere, it'd probably be somewhere warm, somewhere by the beach, somewhere that I have access to the ocean, just, getting a tan. I love soaking up the sun, and I think that comes from a lifetime of being cold. So I guess if I could pick, I'd probably pick somewhere that's close to the beach. I don't know if we're talking continental U.S. or if we're talking anywhere in the world. I don't know. There's some lovely beaches in Italy. There's some lovely beaches in Croatia. But I've been to Florida a ton of times. It's also beautiful there. So really just anywhere that's warm, water, beach type situation.
Did you watch Shark Week?
I did not watch Shark Week. I know. It completely passed me by. I guess I was busy with other things, but I did not watch it. And I mean, obviously, yes, that would be a real concern about living near the water.
Depends on where you go. Yeah, I watched Shark Week. I don't know where I'd want if I could pick a place. I mean, Italy's always out there an option or a destination I'd love to visit one day. I don't mind living by Lambeau Field, so.
Well, it's true. I mean, you got it pretty good right there too. I mean, have you been in Wisconsin your whole life?
Yeah. Yep. I was born and raised in Madison, and then moved to Green Bay in my mid-20s. So.
Nice.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
I'm gonna give a typical answer. I mean, I am kind of a grammar Nazi, and so I get really my skin just crawls if I'm seeing people, make posts that are grammatically incorrect. That's kind of like nails on a chalkboard for me to see. Grammar errors, I would say, is probably my biggest pet peeve. Beyond that, when people are watching TikToks with their sound on in public, that gets me too. Like, have some courtesy, right?
Or people talking out loud, like video chatting.
Oh yes, like in the airport, for example, it happens all the time.
Yeah, I not necessarily bad drivers because we're not all perfect, but ones that go slow in the fast lane, they really get me. And especially when you get into Illinois, from like the Minnesota, from the Wisconsin border, and you're like on the I-94 or whatever it is, and there's people going like 105 miles an hour, and there's just no need to go that fast.
Yeah, like all the darting in between traffic to get around the slow people that are in the lane they shouldn't be. Obviously, very annoying.
Yeah, that or people that ride your bumper, that, and people with a big old I'm sure you see it in Oklahoma everywhere. The big old jacked up trucks that think they can just blow their diesel smoke in your face and take off. And
yes, and this is probably not going to go over real well with everybody, but I also do not like people that make their cars loud intentionally. I feel like I don't need you driving through my neighborhood with your loud car at any time of day.
Yeah, you seen it, especially if you're doing, like drinking or whatever, and you just draw attention to yourself, But
yeah, come get me. I'm right here. I'm very noticeable, right?
Right. What was your favorite toy as a kid?
Oh gosh. Well, of course I had Barbies, but I really enjoyed cutting their hair off more than anything. So my mom used to make Barbie clothes for me, everything when I was little. And my cousin and I used to, they lived on the lake, and we used to take our Barbies and like chuck them off the end of their dock as far as we could, and then like dive in to try to like save them. So I don't know that we really were playing Barbies like the correct way. But I would say I love Barbies. I also had a Cabbage Patch Kid. Everybody who grew up in the 80s knows what that is. What else? I mean, in terms of toys, I guess I always loved like riding my bike, and everything was really fun. Of course, I had roller skates when I was little. That was obviously very entertaining. Hours upon hours spent in the concrete basement just roller skating around.
Right. Did you ever recover any of those Barbies in the lake? Or there's still some floating out there?
Well, yes, because we would wear goggles, so we would just dive off the dock and then play lifeguard and go save them looking with our goggles.
That can make for a long afternoon.
Oh, for sure. And of course, this is again in the 80s, and so it's obviously totally unsupervised, and it was all fun and games until my cousin cracked her head open on a rock diving off of the dock, and then we were no longer allowed to play that game. So.
That sucks. Yeah. My favorite toy would have to have been like G.I. Joes or like the wrestling figurines growing up, because me and my brothers used to be big into watching WWF back in the day, or Hot Wheels cars playing out in the gravel driveway, making like your own driveways and your own roads and stuff like that. But that would have to be mine. We know your favorite NFC team. Who's your favorite? Do you have a favorite AFC team?
Well, because I am part of University of Oklahoma, obviously right now we're loving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
They're AFC, correct? I don't want to be wrong about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just because of Baker Mayfield, obviously that's a team that everybody here kind of tends to support. Obviously Oklahoma doesn't have a pro sports team, and so a lot of people are Cowboys fans here just because of its proximity to Dallas. But because of the OU ties, people also, of course, really like Arizona Cardinals because of Kyler Murray, and Buccaneers because of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well, the Buccaneers are AFC or NFC, but I'd go with the Houston Texans. They're AFC, and CJ Stroud.
Oh, yeah. He had a great first season last year. It looked amazing. I mean, I'm interested to see kind of his development and what that team is going to do. It sounds like they got some good pieces to put around him and kind of see, where he's going to go from there. I know one of our former OU players that had been at the Bengals, Joe Mixon, of course, now is with Houston, and so interested to see what he's going to do with CJ Stroud.
Yeah, Joe Mixon, he has quite the background, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
He had that video circulating when he was in college. I'm glad he picked Oklahoma over Wisconsin, because that, I think those are his top two choices to come down to choosing from, was Badgers or Oklahoma, and Yeah.
And Badgers just recently actually had one of our players that was on our team last year, Tui Walker. He's running back, and so you guys are going to see him in action this fall with the Badgers. Should be a pretty good fit for your team for sure.
Yeah, they actually let go that they had like a quarterback they turned into a receiver. And then no, they had a quarterback they turned into a receiver. McCool, he was from from like the. Anyway, they released him and they signed 2 receivers. So we'll see. They're trying to experiment with putting a quarterback that had, good speed and everything at receiver, but I think he got hurt and they waived him or something like that. And recently signed 2 receivers. It'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table this offseason and training camp and preseason. So.
Yeah, I was obviously really sad to see Tui Walker leave our team. He was a complete workhorse for us last season, was getting a lot of, really, really difficult carries. He just is very strong and powerful and able to break through that line. And so I think he's going to be really, really good for y'all.
Yeah, well, before I came on, I was watching a video from training from the Cowboys, and they have, was it Deuce Vaughn? He's like 5'5". He's like a little Martian out there.
Yes, I'm like, I'm 5 feet tall myself. I'm like, he's barely taller than I am, just breaking through that line out there,
Right, and the thing that is got to be hard for Dak Prescott is, I don't know how much playing time he's going to get, but getting used to ball location, throwing it to him out of the backfield and on screen passes, and it's like throwing a little kid out there.
Yeah, you have to, like ball placement, like throwing down.
It's like watching the WNBA 3-point contest last night, and they had 6'4", 6'5" girls, taking shots where they from the ball rack they had to reach down to get the ball, and it's all about timing and whatnot. But it's got to be hard for Dak to get adjusted to throwing to someone that's 5'5" out of the backfield. But
yeah, he was definitely on their team last year. They had drafted him, and we saw a little bit of action. But I think hopefully we'll see him utilized a little bit more this year, just depending upon what their scheme looks like.
Yeah, and they haven't signed CeeDee Lamb yet either, have they?
No, another Oklahoma kid who, of course, we in Oklahoma we love him. We love him here. He was such a standout, phenomenal player for us. And yeah, I would like to see what they're going to do with him, what they're going to do with his contract. I don't know which side is necessarily holding out, but kind of with the Cowboys, what Jerry wants, Jerry gets, and so we'll see kind of what happens moving forward.
Yeah, he might have some money off the table going to him too. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
What have you learned about life from kids?
From kids? Oh gosh, kids can be honest. I feel like kids are, they're unaffected by, oftentimes like social norms where you hold your tongue or you say polite things. Like kids are brutally honest. And I have a couple of degrees in education, and so I think that's one of the things I learned for sure. And that, and just like I think it's important to see like just how free kids are in the way that they carry themselves. They don't have the constraints of adulthood, obviously, to sort of weigh them down. And I think a lot of times all of us could benefit from being a little bit lighter in our lives. And I think, if you surround yourself with children, that's something that you're going to pick up, just to be silly and kind and free. So I think that kids are really, really good about that.
Yeah, unless it's your own and they hit 11, 12, 13 in their teens, and then they're talking back and,
Yeah, I don't have any kids myself, and we definitely don't plan to, and so, but I'm seeing pretty much all of my friends are parents, and so we're kind of seeing the different stages through all of them, and it's been interesting to watch. I do have a couple of nephews myself. Of course, they are adult men at this point, but I remember them being little and just being so excited about every kind of sport. They both played football and lacrosse, and it's always so fun to go watch kids' games. My gosh, like how funny are little kids' soccer games?
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's 4 or 5 year olds, like hilarious.
Yeah, they all bunch on the ball and they're all kicking at it and they're falling over like Teletubbies, and
they don't know if they should run. They just keep kicking at it. It's awesome.
Or they get the ball and they go the wrong way. You're like, no, turn around, other way.
That and T-ball just cracks me up. T-ball's hilarious too.
Yeah, I learned that. You got to have patience, but sometimes they know when they get to a certain age, they know what buttons to push. Having 5 kids of my own, I've learned that quite a bit.
Okay.
My 7-year-old daughter, she's still she wants people to play with her 24/7, like dolls, and usually I get suckered into, all the other kids.
Enjoy it, yeah, because it's not going to last forever. She's not going to want you to play Barbies and dolls with her forever. So
right, and I get that, and I got my other kids that are on their phones or their tablets, or they want to play video games, or so I'll sit back and I'll play with her and that. So
I'm sure she loves it.
Yeah, she does. Favorite place to vacation?
Well, I don't necessarily know if it's my favorite place, but I think the place I'm probably most familiar with is Vegas. I think I have been, I don't know, 8 or 9 times to Las Vegas. And so once you kind of know like the layout of where everything is, it's just sort of fun to go and experience everything they have to offer. I've been to Mexico a couple of times. That was also really fun. I vacationed in Canada before. That was also fun. I would love to go, to Europe at some point and just, experience what life is like there and see everything that Europe has to offer. I mean, my husband and I have long talked about kind of trying to, build a trip where we see, London, Paris, Rome, that kind of stuff. I've seen lots of my friends' pictures. Of course, they're always beautiful, but there's something to be said about going to experience it yourself. And at some point, we really hope to do that.
Yeah, how close are you to Vegas?
We're not really close. It's a couple hour flight, I guess, two, three
Yeah.
hour flight.
So you'd fly there, not drive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I guess driving would probably take, I don't know. My sister and her family live in Salt Lake City, and it takes like 11 hours to get there. So I don't know, beyond that, like how much farther it would be. But
Yeah, I remember driving from Madison to Fremont, California, which is I think south of San Francisco, and we did 3 12-hour days driving on the road.
gosh.
And
Yeah.
that was pretty cool driving, just because you got to stop in. I think we stopped in like Platt, Nebraska, which is
Mhm.
where Wyatt Earp, I think,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
was born or got killed or something like that. Then the second night we stayed in, I think it was Wyndham or Nevada. It was somewhere in like that had a big casino there. It wasn't Reno. I think it was like.
Okay.
And then the third night we made it to San Francisco, but yeah, it was just kind of fun. I like to see different locations. I mean, I've flown to California too, but I'd rather if I had the time to drive,
Yeah, taking the sights. I mean, of course, there's lots of interesting stuff to see along the way, I'm sure. I remember in 2020 when COVID broke out and we realized we were going to be working remotely for quite some time. I packed up my car and my dog and drove home to the Fargo, North Dakota area. And of course, that drive is straight up I-35 and it is very boring. And it's also about a 14, 15-hour drive, and I just did it like all in one shot. I don't know that I would necessarily do that again. But at that time, there weren't a lot of other people out on the road, so it was pretty simple.
Yeah. I think when we went down, we hit I-80 out of Iowa and went through like Dakota, like Montana, Salt Lake, and that down Sacramento that way. But it was scenic, you got to see. What I think was cool, like in Northern California, you go past and it's just people like take rocks and they like spell their names out on the side of the road, like in the sand or in the dirt or whatever. I don't know if you've ever seen that before traveling, but people like stack rocks or they take rocks and they spell their name out like.
Interesting. Yeah, I've only been to California once. We had a dive meet at Pepperdine one year, and so we went there, and their campus is just beautiful. I mean, it's in Malibu. It's like got cliffs overlooking the ocean. It's unreal. It's such a beautiful place. I was very lucky to get to go there for a meet.
Yeah, I've been to California 3 times, I think, for work. That's it though. Not currently, but a past job that I had.
Yeah.
What is one thing that is overrated?
One thing that's overrated. Well, I can think of a couple sports teams that I could throw out there, like Minnesota Vikings, overrated.
Bears.
I would say, Bears, overrated. University of Texas, overrated. But in terms of actual things, well, that's a great question. I don't know.
I mean, your answer is perfect. You just forgot to add in that team in Dallas too.
Oh, well, I can't do that if I want to keep living in my house. So I've got to cheer for them, of course, only when they're not playing the Packers. So it makes for interesting family gatherings, that's for sure. I'll show up to Thanksgiving like in my Packers sweatshirt, and they're all decked out in their Cowboys gear. So
yeah, is your husband's whole family Cowboy fans?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it makes for interesting holidays, like I said.
I suppose it keeps conversations going, though, right? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, they always, at holidays like Cowboys usually play on Thanksgiving or Christmas or one of them, and so of course they're always watching all together, and so it's kind of a fun thing to see his family. He has a very large family, and so it's cool to see them all come together and do that.
All come
But I
together and get
definitely,
upset.
yeah, exactly. What are we doing? But I will always, of course, be there in my Packers gear, supporting from the side. So.
That's awesome. I don't know what was overrated. I don't know. That's a good. I mean, it's a question. It's. I mean, I could think of sports teams, obviously, and
I know. I jump right to sports. I'm like, this team, overrated.
yeah, like the Yankees. You know, they have the highest payroll in
Oh yeah.
baseball, and whenever they
Mhm.
don't win the championship, I think it's hilarious because it's like they got to go and buy talent. You know, the highest
Mhm.
bidder always, comes out on top with the so-called best players, and when they don't win the World Series, it's hilarious. It's like you got to try to
We
buy
spent
it.
all these resources trying to do this, and like, it didn't even work. So now what?
Yeah, it's like it's funny. There's a meme like the Cowboy fans are Yankees fans and whatever else fans because how they just throw money around
Probably
and
like the Lakers too, maybe. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, Lakers. I won't get into that conversation because I'll just get blasted for it. So I have my thoughts on LeBron James and yeah.
I think a lot of people probably do. We'll just let it play out and see what happens.
Yeah, and they're them too. It's like they have all they're bringing in all these players, and when they don't win a championship, I think it's hilarious too. Like my like for the Lakers went downhill after Kobe retired and Shaq wasn't on the team anymore, and it's just and now you got athletes that are trying to team up with like the greatest players in the game, and then
Yeah.
ring
Like they've
chase.
just been chasing that era and not able to kind of attain it since. So.
Yeah, but the main goal of playing the NBA is to win a ring, I guess. And if you gotta go around and try to team up with other players and take less money to try to do it, I guess it is what it is. But it makes you look bad in my eyes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously here in Oklahoma City, we have the people who are staunchly against, what Kevin Durant did to us and leaving for Golden State to go get a ring. And then we have people that understand that, it is a business decision and you can't kind of fault people for doing what's best for their career. But there's been some chatter about, oh, should OKC bring back Kevin Durant? And it's very split. Some people are like, oh, heck yeah, he'd help our team. And people are like, no, he burned us. We're not bringing him back. So I don't,
Yeah, he's
I don't
getting
really know
older
what I think
too.
about it. But yeah, I don't think we need him. I think we're fine without him.
Yeah, he's getting older, and you guys have all these high draft picks in the future, and what you guys just drafted. I mean, I think you guys are going to be in good shape with Shy.
Yeah,
And
and absolutely. We've been working with our young players and they've been building some solid team chemistry and it's been really cool to see. I was so glad to see them make a playoff run this year. That was awesome. Hoping for more in the future. They brought in a couple of other good pieces to kind of, we need some big guys. We needed some, big shooters and so I think that, with what we've brought in, hopefully it will be.
well, even you guys getting rid of Josh Giddey and bringing in Caruso. He's a good defender and he's good on offense too. And you, I mean, if you guys didn't win a championship with a young Durant, Westbrook, and Harden, they're not going to do it again, bringing them back for a second time. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You might as well let your young guys work together, build their chemistry, develop your players, use your umpteen draft picks that you have and just see what you can build at this point. So it's been really fun to watch, and I can't wait to watch them again this year.
Yeah, I can't wait for basketball to start back up because it's like it just got over with, but I want to see what the Bucks do.
Yeah, for sure.
What is your favorite pizza topping?
I'm gonna get blasted for this too. Canadian bacon and pineapple. I just love it. I think pineapple belongs on pizza. It is my hill to die on. I will even get a veggie pizza and remove the olives because I hate them. I hate olives and replace it with pineapple. So strong supporter of pineapple on pizza. Probably one of my favorite toppings, but Canadian bacon pineapple all the way.
You don't like olives?
No. Olives are the worst thing ever. I cannot stand them.
I love green olives. Especially on pizza.
It's like the brininess and the texture. They're just like rubbery and briny.
They have taste though.
Yeah, bad taste, Brian. It's not good.
Black ones don't really have a taste, but the green ones have a good taste, I think.
I mean, I guess I have put green olives in beer before, just kind of for the extra saltiness, and that's been okay. But I'm certainly not going to eat them after that.
I'd ask you this question, but I think I know the answer. Do you like to be early or late?
Well, I am kind of an anxious person, and so of course I tend to be early so I can make sure I know where I'm going and like what if there's not parking and like being early. But I also love to like sometimes oversleep and sleep in. So it's kind of 50-50 with me, a hit or miss. But if it's for something, very professional, like job related, of course I'm going to be early. I definitely want to make sure, I know where I'm going and there's parking everywhere I go. And I get frustrated like when people tell you that they'll be somewhere a certain time and then like you're just waiting and waiting. And so I kind of think it's, if you have of course a legitimate reason to be late, by all means, but people that just keep you waiting all day, it's kind of annoying.
Is having 5 kids a legitimate reason to be late?
Yes. Yes, because you have to wrangle them. You have to get them, into a vehicle. You have to get them ready to get out the house. Like there's a lot of preparation work I feel like that goes into transporting a family that large. So that is a legitimate reason. Yes.
Good. Because I like to be late, and sometimes we get held up because of my family likes to kind of drag ass. So it's
you got to get everyone in like focus on the same thing at the same time and out the door, and that can be really hard to do. I'm certain.
Yeah. I know. it's I like being to work like half hour early, just so you never know, something could pop up or that a detour on the road, or always the possibility of something happening. So
yeah, I had one of my former supervisors had a family, and she would always stay and work later, and I was thought, oh my gosh, she just must be so busy, she has so much work to do. And it comes out that she's like, no, this is where it's the only peace and quiet I can get. So she would just stay later at work when she needed to have her little peace and quiet before going home to her family.
I couldn't get away with that. I'd be getting blown up on my phone 24/7. So what fictional place would you like to go to?
Fictional place. Well, that's a great question. Put me on the spot here. I'm trying to think of fictional places now.
Bikini Bottom.
Oh, Bikini Bottom. I mean, I guess if I love the beach, that should be a good option, right?
Yeah.
But I don't really like snorkeling or anything. I don't really want to be like down there with the fish or anything. That's a little bit. Also, no, I don't want them like touching me or anything. So I don't know about Bikini Bottom. Let's see. I mean, I always thought like the jungle in Lion King looked really cool. Like, where they had, where all the lions lived, where the pride lived and all that. That looked really cool. Some of the shots, of course, in Game of Thrones are beautiful, but, obviously it's very dangerous there. So you wouldn't want to spend much time. Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not really sure what fictional place I can even think of right now that I would want to go to. I don't know. What about you?
Bikini Bottom. Hang out with Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob and Squidward and
just on the Krabby Patty,
Yeah. Heck yeah. Life seems so simple down there.
Right.
I know people would say like Spider-Man or with the Ninja Turtles or.
Oh, yeah, Ninja Turtles is a good one. But I mean, they live in the sewer, so is that really where you want to go? Like, I don't know.
It looked like a clean sewer though, and they ate a lot of pizza.
Well, that's how you know it's fictional, because I mean, a clean sewer where adult turtles live and fighting crime.
If time and money weren't an issue, what hobby would you like to get into?
Okay, so I have been telling my husband that I always wanted to get a private pilot's license. I don't know why. I just feel like it would be a really cool thing to have. I would love to see, the view that they see into like just have the ability to control that massive aircraft. I think would be so cool. And so I don't know if that's something that I will do at some point, but I would love to look into getting a private pilot's license. Of course, if time and money were no issue.
Yeah, that's I was always so afraid to fly, but then I had that job where I traveled the United States and we had to fly some of the trips we went on, and I had to come over that fear of flying. And I don't know if I want to be a pilot or not. We have the air show here in Oshkosh, the EAA Venture or whatever. And you always hear of like plane crashes, and there was a young female pilot that crashed into Lake Winnebago. I'm pretty sure it was. And just to hear horror stories of, there's, I think one year John Travolta flew his plane into Oshkosh and he was up here, and just there's always that small chance that you're gonna crash, and it's just something that I wouldn't want to ever take part
I
in.
know. I think
Yeah,
about that too, but I think about like how many, road wrecks I see all the time. I mean, I think there's a larger chance of getting injured in one of those than in a plane crash. And I feel like, especially if I were the one in control of the craft, I would know, that um, I know what I'm doing, hopefully by that point. And but I mean, I guess things can always go wrong. But yeah, that's a hobby I would love to pursue. If time and money were no issue, would be to get a pilot's license.
yeah. I think for me, I think I'd want to deal with like memorabilia, like sports
Oh
memorabilia.
yeah, oh that'd be cool too. Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
flying around and like have like my own agency and going around and like getting autographs and have like my own shop and selling them and or
Oh, that would be really
online or
cool.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, just to be able to have that connection with sports, you know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I know how cool it is. Like I know I have like some Brett Favre autographs and Charles Woodson and a few more like Prince Fielder and
Hmm.
Greg Jennings and some other people, and it's just I know how much joy that brought me. It'd be cool to like to bring that joy to other people. But I
Oh,
know
for sure. I mean,
there's several people out there that already do it, but it'd make it like it would satisfy me to be that person granting
yeah.
the picture or the autograph to somebody, you know.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, I'm sure, you get to meet so many cool people and, just having the items, having the signatures, being able to sort of, like you said, bring that joy to other people who may not have access and everything. That would be really cool.
Yeah. The only one thing that would suck about that is like having your own like walk-in shop is you're always thinking of someone trying to break in and steal it.
Oh,
And
yeah, sure. You'd have to have like very good insurance coverage because you probably aren't getting those things back.
maybe I'd have armed guards. If money wasn't an
There you
issue, I'd
go.
have armed guards.
Well, yeah, true. Money's no issue. So really, you could operate out of wherever you wanted to make sure it's secure. So yeah, you could. Money's no issue. Hire yourself some security.
But then you gotta worry about them stealing from you.
True, because you have to hire people that you trust. So
What's the best single day on the calendar?
the best single day on the calendar. Um, well, I think, obviously we can both agree that the start of football season is a great day. Well, it falls on a different day of the calendar each year. It's awesome. I'm super excited for college football to start too. That's a great day on our calendar. August 30th this year, are the Friday night game. But basically, I mean, I have always loved Christmas. I just love Christmas Day and Christmas Eve so much, and so those are a couple that I look forward to every year.
Right. Yeah, I'd say opening day of like the sports I like to watch, mainly football and basketball.
Yeah, yeah. Got to have it circled on your calendar.
What's up?
Just miss you.
Oh,
What's the most interesting place you've been to?
interesting place I've been to. Well, I'm going to tell you the most uninteresting place I've been to because I can't think of the most interesting one. But one place I went to that I never want to visit again is Cleveland. We went there for diving nationals one year, and it was the year that COVID happened, and so everything shut down, and we were trapped for a week, and it was terrible. I just didn't really feel like there was much really to do during that time. Of course, because COVID was going on, there's nothing to do. But also, if you're feeling like you're trapped somewhere for a week, I just have no desire to ever go back to Cleveland. But one of the cool places I did go to, like I said, going to Pepperdine in Malibu, it was absolutely beautiful. I've gotten to see a lot of different pools and places and people throughout my coaching career, and so I think of what are some of the coolest places I've been in terms of coaching, and definitely going to Pepperdine in Malibu was very cool. I also spent part of a summer when I was a kid up in Ottawa with one of my friends' families. They actually owned a horse ranch where they trained horses for show jumping, and so I'm not really like a horse girl, but I got to go and learn a little bit about it, and so I thought was really cool too to visit.
No, it's in Canada, right? Ottawa.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I think there's Ottawa, California too. So I just wanted to make
yeah,
sure.
yeah, Ottawa, like the capital of Canada. We got to go and see like the downtown and all that kind of stuff. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I'd have to say for me it would be. I mean, I grew up in Madison, so it was always fun to go to Madison. But I mean, probably San Francisco or like Eureka, California, which is like Northern California, or driving through
Oh,
like what's that national forest and Sequoia National Forest, I think, in
oh yeah.
California.
Oh, I've never seen it, but I mean, the pictures look beautiful. I'd love to go and check it out sometime for sure.
Yeah, there was this tree that had to have been at least like 10 feet wide. It was
Oh my
just
gosh.
huge.
Isn't
And
there one that's like it's got like a tunnel over the highway and you can like drive through it or something? Is it? Or am I making
well,
that up?
no,
I feel like
they might have that somewhere in California, but place I went, the one that I'm talking about, we had like a big entryway cut in it, and I took a picture standing inside of it, and I mean, just looking up at the trees, you're like so tall, and just
I wonder how old they have to be. So old to be that large, right? Like they've got to be like, I don't know,
hundreds of years
200 years
old.
old.
Yeah. But for me, it's just anywhere, I guess. The most uninteresting place. I mean, I like Chicago, but not like we stayed again for work outside Chicago in Cicero, and I was on Cicero Avenue in the Best Western, and I remember watching TV with my window open in the Best Western and hearing gunshots.
Oh, fun.
So
yeah.
that always having to lock your tools up. And I think one time we were in Detroit and had our work trailer stolen, and we found it in someone's front yard. And this is
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, that sounds worse than Cleveland. I'll just put it that way.
well, I mean, you always hear stories of Cleveland, and it's like the armpit of the Midwest. You know, that loop from like Milwaukee down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's worth spending more money on to get the best?
Well, my car salesman father would say vehicles. Obviously, spend money on a good vehicle to make sure it's going to last you. But other than vehicles, let me see. I mean, I think it's important, like technology-wise, to have good technology to make sure you're not going to be replacing, your systems every couple of years. That's a very boring answer, but true. I think it's always good to invest money into education, get a good education. I think that's, important to invest money in. I guess I'm not sure what else. What about you?
I'd say like, yeah, I mean, I would say technology. For me, I'm always not always on my phone, but I'm on my phone quite a bit. So having a decent phone, one that's not gonna, crash on you or freeze all the time, one has a fast processor. Food. You don't want to buy cheap food and get sick from it. Like if you go to a restaurant or you go grocery shopping or, I don't know, because I mean everything eventually breaks down, and stuff isn't made to last anymore because people are money hungry. So
that's because they want you to, it lasts just long enough, and then you've got to replace it because you desperately need it at this point. So,
like I remember growing up, and the cars used to be solid. Now it's just like you can barely touch them and they dent in. And
yes, and I feel like the same thing about like washers and dryers. I don't know, like if it was.
Don't get me started with washers and dryers. We're going through an issue right now with ours.
I'm like, I should knock on wood because ours is like old and it is still good. And now that I think I've probably cursed it, but
no, we went and bought new washer and dryer, and we had this and they're a combo together, and it was a top load washer and a front load dryer. And we're just testing it. We did a normal load first, and obviously we have 7 people in the family, so we're doing laundry all the time. And you'd go to dry it on a full cycle, and stuff still came out damp. And it's like, why in the hell is it still damp? So we ran it again, like 3 or 4 times, and like we had the guy, like repair guy out. He's like, "Oh, maybe it's your venting outside. That was clean. Maybe it's this." So he went back and changed some whatever. Then it's like, we just want to swap it out. We'll pay the difference. We want to get something new. So we got something new, and now it's working. It's drying the clothes. The new one that we got, it's a front load dryer. I forgot what kind it is, but now the washer, it has. We had a Whirlpool front load one for 15 years when we bought the house, and that would start spinning off center, and it just made a lot. Like we gotta get something new, so we got top load one, and it had the agitator. Well, the agitator is a part you screw off, and there's a filter inside. It collects all the junk, and then there's mold that was growing on the bottom of the thing. So we told the guys, like, we gotta do something. We can't. So now we're in the process of trying to get that swapped out for a different washer, and it's just like we've had. And the one, so we call customer service and like, well, maybe you guys need to switch, detergents, or because it was leaving like deodorant marks in the armpits of like dark shirts. It's like, we never had issues for 15 years. Don't tell us you got to switch our deodorant or switch our detergent, because we never had this issue before with a 15-year-old washer.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have the solid first one that is 15, maybe even 20 years old, and it's working awesome. And then you see people like, oh, we just got this new high tech like washer dryer system, and like a little piece breaks a couple years later, and they're so expensive. So I'm like holding on to this like very old, I don't know if it's a Maytag or whatever we have, but holding on to it for as long as we can because it does its job. And I'm just dreading the day that we have to replace it with something new.
Yeah, in fact, I'm waiting for a phone call today from them because I've had it. I went in there Monday and I said I want to swap it out. We have a 5-year warranty. It smells. It makes our clothes smell. I mean, it's kind of off subject, but I mean, it's a life talk, right? So I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, you spend big money on stuff not to have go in the opposite direction that you're going in before with your other appliances. So I mean, it's
so we have our answer. It's important to spend good money on good appliances as long as that they work.
Yeah, and we shouldn't, like over time, dirt and grime, and but that's mold. We shouldn't have to put it on 10 plus clean cycles by itself, and nothing's changed. Get this junk out of my house.
Down there and demand your money back. You have to do it because you cannot continue like that. It's not even washing your clothes.
Yeah, right. The last one we just we got a new one, and whatever price difference there was, like if we were to get one that was cheaper, they would have given us the difference in the gift card, or we would have, if it was more expensive, we would have paid the difference to have it just because you wanted that one out of our house. But yeah, even with dishwasher,
you on that.
Yeah, a dishwasher too. One that we got a dishwasher that was supposed to like chop. How you have kids that throw stuff in the dishwasher that still has food on it. It's supposed to chop up the food and get rid of it. Well, this one had a recall. We had one that had a recall on the food chopper. It's like, okay, so get us a new one then. Okay.
Yeah. Our heated dry broke on our dishwasher a while back, and so we also got a new one. So far, new one has been okay. But yeah, the heated dry broke, and that was just the worst thing ever. Like, who wants to hand dry your dishes?
Right. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Crack your dishwasher so it air dries?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But yeah,
you have to like put a towel like hanging on the inside of it so that it could like absorb some of the water. Since it was just a nightmare. But we have a new one now, so.
Yeah, that was that. I think we answered my own question there. Spend money on the appliances and spend the money to get a warranty.
I was just gonna say, don't forget the warranty because now
we have a 5-year warranty, and we bought the set in March or April, and it's July, so it's May, June, so 3-4 months. Then we have to do the inconvenience to take the day off to be home. Mm-hmm. And then it's just a pain in the butt to deal with customer service.
These companies are just cutting corners to save costs and making these things, and so they don't hold up like they used to.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure. What inspires you to be better?
Well, I mean, definitely, my family. You always want to be the best version of yourself for them. And of course, the students that I work with, I always want to, stay up to date in my industry and make sure I'm, providing the best service to students or to athletes like that I can. I think service to other people, I would say, is what inspires me to be better.
Yeah, family and not so much how people perceive you, but just you want to try to leave a positive impact, I guess, and try to teach your kids to do the right thing and hope that they do. And
you want to you want the person that you are inside to match up with what you're doing outside. And so I think, that congruency alone is enough to motivate me to be better.
Yeah, that can change in a hurry, though. I know I've always said that I'm not afraid to go to jail for my family, for my kids. And I haven't been for my family or my kids, but I'm just saying, we have these neighbors down the road from us that pick on my kids. And I've made a few appearances at their front door talking to their parents. And so I'm not afraid to stand up for my, show my kids that I'm there for them, and I'll stand up for them. No matter what my kids do to upset me, or I was once a kid too. I don't know. I wasn't an angel by any means. I was always in the principal's office as a kid, and always, teachers put that check mark on the board when you were younger that you had to,
your name up there with check mark you're staying after school. Mm-hmm.
That was me, or the principal walking behind you in the lunchroom, tapping his pen on your head, and that was me. I had a lot of misconducts growing up, and but my parents still stood up for me, and I'm going to do the same for my kids. So.
Yeah. Kids need to know that they can rely on their closest people around them, their family, and that their parents have their back. So I think that's a really awesome thing.
Yeah. Well, even like at school, like it's just weird how it's happened. Like, where I've had to call the principal and talk to them several times at each, the middle school, the elementary school, the high school, and intermediate school, and I've had to contact all the principals know who I am. Because I'm the one that calls and says this isn't going to happen, and if something happens to my kids, then I tell my kids to tell who's ever picking on them that their dad's going to show up at their front door with a set of boxing gloves and box their dad out in the front yard.
Listen, take it seriously, because I feel like there are so many parents these days that just aren't involved, and they'll sit a kid in front of a screen rather than deal with any sort of real issues that are going on. And so that kind of parenting can have a lot of lasting effects well into adulthood. And so I think it's really great to be involved and to show your kids you have their back, and to show them, this is the right way. So.
Right. Absolutely. I got 2, 4, 5 more questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
Right.
It's been fun so far. I think the best conversation we had was about appliances.
Listen, I'm old. I know I'm old, and it's sad to see myself going in this direction, but here we are. So
hey, I was excited about getting a new washer and dryer. I was excited about getting a new. The washer and dryer we had was a matching set from when we bought the house 16 years ago. So sometimes you got to change.
In talking about appliances, I just have to talk about FridgeGate of 2023 that happened at our house. Just really quickly.
Go ahead.
So the day before my husband and I get married, our refrigerator goes out. We have a bunch of people coming into town that day. We're hosting a dinner at our home. We, trying to, I'm talking 30 people in our house. And we have no refrigerator. Well, so obviously we just ordered in catering instead, and sent, leftovers home with everybody since we couldn't keep them. And he decides he's going to bring a refrigerator home from work. He works, move out, make ready kind of construction work. And so he decides he's going to bring a extra refrigerator home from work, and we'll just use that until we, after our wedding's over, we can go buy a new one. It doesn't work. We get it all the way down here. We plug it in. It doesn't work either. So now we have 2 refrigerators that don't work, and we still have all these people around. Eventually, we did go and purchase a new one, but it was just the most inopportune time. And not to mention, about a couple weeks after that, his truck finally just dies. And so now we have no way to move the 2 non-functioning refrigerators out of our garage. So we're stuck with these 2 broken refrigerators. Anyway, it was a whole thing, but we're good now. We have a nice new one. Ideally, it keeps working, and we're, oh my gosh, I wonder if we have a warranty. I need to ask. Okay. But
yeah, we still have the same refrigerator and same stove from when we bought the house, but I'm sure eventually when at some point we'll get an upgrade, but why fix it if it ain't broken,
Exactly, because you're not going to get the same quality anymore.
Yeah. Well, this washer we had, the front end washer, the Whirlpool one, I was always, guilty of overfilling it, and then it started rocking and hitting the wall. And it's like, okay, we got to, I think something's off center, and something was wrong where it was starting to was it starting to rip holes? I don't know. Anyway, we just got rid of it. We just figured instead of spending the money to get it repaired, we just get something new. And my wife she's pissed now because we have a washer that we're all afraid to do laundry because of our clothes and stuff like that. And that reminds me, when I get off this podcast with you, I'm gonna call this place because they're supposed to call me today at some point, and
you got to give them hell.
Okay, I need a new washer.
Yes. You have to let me know how it goes. I'm very interested to know what they say back. But okay, anyway, enough about FridgeGate. I just had to share that since we're talking about.
What risks are worth taking?
I think the kind of risks that show you, what you're made of. I think about my own life and how I literally left a full-time job, everything that I knew to come down here to Oklahoma and start over with nothing. And if I wouldn't have done that, I don't know that I ever would have kind of left my hometown area. And I think that the kind of risks that really show you like what you're made of, that challenge you to step up. I think those are the kind of risks that are worth taking.
Yeah, for me, I think, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I'm from Madison. My wife is from De Pere, which is like 5 minutes outside of Green Bay.
Yeah, my family lived in De Pere for a long time. Yeah.
Lambeau Field's 10 minutes from my house. Depends on how fast I'm driving. Usually if I'm going the speed limit, I'll get there in about 11 minutes. But so the group of, love my friends to death, but I just was always surrounded by partying and the drinking and other stuff. And I think that when I met my wife, I worked as a bouncer at a bar that was by Camp Randall, which the Badgers play at. So it was on a Badger game day, there's 140 plus thousand people in Madison going to, up and down the streets and everything. And she was working at the beer garden, and eventually, I don't know how, but she was interested in me, and I was just plastered drunk. And the first impression of me was, who in the hell is that guy? And our mutual friend was a bar manager and eventually set us up. And one night I was at a Best Buy buying CDs back in the day, buying CDs and video games at night. And it was my wife. It was her birthday at the time. And she's at her friend's house in Madison, and she was spending the night, and she asked what did she want for her birthday, and she said she wanted to have dinner with me. So I happened to be that I was actually on the west side of Madison, like 5 minutes from our friend's house, and I ended up going having dinner with her. And then from the rest is history. And then I proposed to her. She moved in with me in Madison for 8-9 months after we got married. Then we decided to make the move to Green Bay, and since then it'll be November 1st of this year. I'll be 3 years alcohol free. So
congratulations, that's so great.
She was a big drive behind that, and actually just reminiscing on some things, and it's not worth it. That's what got me into coaching, is just to stay away from it and being around kids and trying to be that figure for kids. And it's cool having people call you coach out in public.
Oh, for sure. So you basically, like, you were challenged to step up for yourself and take that risk of doing something that that was previously unknown. And so I'm really glad to hear about your 3 years clean. That's awesome. Definitely keep going. You've got a lot of people supporting you, it sounds like, and relying on you. And so
for sure,
that was a good risk.
And actually, yesterday was our 16-year anniversary. So
happy anniversary! Wow.
Yeah, we've been together for 18, together, or married for 16. So yeah,
awesome.
So that's cool. Mm-hmm. What is one for me? I'll answer this one first. What is one of your favorite smells? A nice crisp fall morning on a football game day, the smell of burning leaves and coffee.
Oh, fall game days that's got to be it,
Especially you being from the Midwest, you know what it's like on a nice fall in the Midwest.
And, the leaves are all like crunchy. Heck yeah. No, it just has a certain kind of ambiance to it that just gets you all hyped for football for sure. So for us in Oklahoma, like the start of football season is incredibly hot. Like we're going to be sweating out there probably until end of October, November. So we look forward to like when that happens, and it's not so like, oh my gosh, I can't be out here all day tailgating, I'm going to die, it's so hot. And so obviously, that starting to smell the fall air and everything, that the season's about to change and you're about to have a better time because you're not sweating to death outside tailgating.
Yeah, and the smell of tailgates.
Oh yeah, like the charcoal or gas, like grilling. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
See, and I think that's what Burger King's on too. Because you ever drive by a Burger King and you can smell the flame broiled? I think they pump that smell into the air on purpose. I don't think it's from their burgers.
Right? Just like
you're driving by, and the wind's blowing right, and it's like, and you can smell it.
Like, turn around.
What gets you fired up?
Football, obviously. I really just whenever I watch sports and I see people that are like reaching the pinnacle of their sport, achieving their dreams, like winning, like just seeing the pride in themselves, like I will cry at that. I will tear up and I will cry watching anybody win any sporting title ever. I don't know what it is. I just feel like it's watching somebody just achieve like a lifelong goal. It just that gets me really fired up for sure.
Even a rival?
Well, no, I mean I'm talking about like watching my own team or like
Okay.
the Olympics or like just very specific events. I mean, I guess I'm probably not going to cry if my rival wins. I mean, unless they're beating me, it's for a different reason. But
yeah,
no, I just really get very energized by seeing people just like reach the pinnacle of their sport, achieve their dreams. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I think like the weekend, like a Friday before, like the Packers play or if they play whatever, the day before, the weekend, or the day before, or the day of a game, definitely gets me fired up. Other things that get me fired up are idiot drivers, like in a bad way.
In a bad way.
You get that small like sense of you want to have road rage, and you can like picture in your head what you do to them if you got a hold of them, and if you could get away with it, you would do it.
But you're on the moving highway, and so
I got to go home to my family.
Exactly. So really, your family's your reason for not committing crimes and road rage, I guess.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, if I didn't have my family, who knows where I'd be? I'd always tell myself that if it wasn't for me and my wife, I don't know where I'd be right now because of the crowd I used to run around with. So it's
it's just weird how things have a way of working out, and sometimes we can't necessarily see what path is going to be put before us, but just to trust that we'll know when it's the right one.
Right, absolutely. What would your spirit animal be?
Spirit animal. I mean, I would love to say like dog or something, but I know if my husband is listening or could hear me, he's going to be like, "You're going to be like some crotchety old cat, probably." But I mean, I should say something like some type of sea life since I love the water. But I don't know. I guess maybe we could be like some type of a jungle cat or something. That'd be kind of cool. Like
a jungle cat?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like you're just everyone's a little bit afraid of you, so you're kind of in charge. You go out hunting when you need it, and make your own way.
Yeah, for me, I'd say a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just people are afraid, but you have like a soft side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, last question: what, if anything, keeps you up at night?
Well, definitely if I get into too deep of a, spiral and like dark hole onto Twitter, that will keep me up all night because of course you can read comment page after, about anything these days. And so that definitely keeps me up sometimes. I guess just I don't want to say fear, but uncertainty about future and stuff. And just, not knowing that I'm not the one who knows my path. There's someone else above me that does know my path, and sometimes I wish it would be a little bit more clear to me. And so I, try not to let myself get into that mindset of really spiraling, thinking about the what ifs and everything. But it's very easy to do that, and so I guess those are some things that would keep me up.
Yeah, I'm a pretty heavy sleeper, so for me, like I used to get upset like when the Packers or my teams would lose, but I gotta learn quickly to let that go, and it's just a bunch of guys going on getting money to play a sport. More recently, it was my surgery on my shoulder had me up, because I was in pain.
Oh, yeah.
But I could fall asleep in the snap of a finger, so nothing really keeps me up, unless it's my kids being loud.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, that's you're one of those people that can just your head hits the pillow and you're out. I cannot do that. It takes me a long time. So
yeah,
I would say most things keep me up at night, I guess. I mean.
Yep. Well, listen, Lindsey, I want to thank you for joining me today. With camp starting on Monday, maybe looking to have you on maybe 3-4 weeks into the preseason to get your thoughts on what's been going on, and we'll get a date booked, and love to have you back on again. Appreciate it.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for having me today. It was a blast. Great conversation. I'm always happy to come back. So keep doing what you do. I love watching.
Buy the warranty and spend the money on appliances.
Yes, people, that is our advice to you for today. Buy the warranty.
Get the dishwasher that cleans your dishes and dries them. Get the washer that washes your clothes with no mold. And get the dryer that dries your clothes the first time.
Yes.
Where can people find you?
Today.
Where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Lindsey and OK.
Perfect. Well, I'll tag you in the episode when I get it uploaded.
All right, sounds great, Brian. Thanks for having me again.
Yep. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.